Alright, this is the Father-Son Prepper Show, and I'm here with my dad, Tony. Say hi, Tony.
Hi, Tony.
And I'm here with my cousin Ian, the gun expert. Say hi, Ian.
Hi.
Alright, so we were going to do an EMP show, but I don't know. I did some of the research, and I thought it would be really boring, and I thought it was... I don't know. I'd rather put it in an article, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write the stuff down we found and put it on the website, fathersonpreppers.com, so go look at it. And what else? We got the site looks different in case any of you care. What else do we have? That's it. So what do we want to start with? You want to start with your Conibears?
Yeah, I can. I just wanted to put in that 110 Conibear is a super important thing to put in your bug out bag. For one, it's really heavy, which is not a good thing. But if you look and see how versatile it is and how hard it would be to damage or to ruin one of these things, for a long-term situation, it would be one of the most perfect things to have in your backpack. I have seen videos of them catching fish with it. You'd have to watch that on YouTube. It's pretty neat. But you can catch just about any kind of animal that'll stick their head in it, which is only about 4 inches.
Well, they're body traps.
Yeah, and they make bigger ones.
So when you set it up, you're not setting it up like a regular bear ankle trap or whatever they call
No,
those.
it stands up and down.
It's sort of like going in.
You put it in like a game trail and they walk through it. And
right. So you'd have to use it, like the 110s, the Conibears, you'd have to use on like a small animal. Or
Squirrels.
a fish.
Squirrel,
Fish.
rabbit maybe.
Yep, rabbits, exactly. And then the bigger ones on up. I think you should have a whole bunch of all of them. All the different size Conibear traps.
So what do you do? Like they have, I know they have those little forks on them. The little antenna looking things.
Yeah, that's
so
what the animal bumps into to set it off.
would you put like a bait on the trigger
Yeah.
itself?
Or
just,
you could put bait and say you dig out a hole in a bank, like a dirt bank, you know? Put the Conibear trap in the middle, put some bait behind it. That's to go through it to get to the bait.
Nice.
On the trail with no bait, if you don't have bait. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can use a Conibear. But they're almost indestructible.
Yeah, so like if you were to go and get cheap rat traps, rat snap traps, you wouldn't want to.
And rat trap would do the same type of thing in some situations, but they're wood and they're going to come apart.
Yeah.
They're not going to last that long.
But they're cheaper.
These Conibears are not going to come apart.
Can take larger game as well. If you say you had 2 of the smaller ones, 1 of the larger ones, or 1 of the medium-sized ones, you could take a lot of different types of games. Whereas the rat trap might only be able to get chipmunks, squirrels, mice.
And a big Conibear will take out a coyote, a bobcat, beaver. So.
But can they still step in the top of it?
Yeah, if you set it up that way.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking they have to go in the side.
You can set it flat on the ground, or you can set it up vertically.
Yeah, you can dig a little hole and set it there to where they stepped onto it. Same type of thing.
Oh, okay.
But it's going to jump up a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't realize
the way it springs, but yeah, if you guys don't have Conibears,
the antennas to trigger it is where it is.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
in the center.
As long as those can move.
So, I just think that's one of the most important things you can have preparing for anything is these Conibear traps. And a 110 small enough to put in your backpack. So, look into it.
Yeah, we need to get... You've got one, right? Or 2?
Yeah, I've got like 4 of each size.
Maybe we'll play with them. I want to check those out. So I wanted to say also, I was talking to my buddy Tim, and he lives in a big city. And he's a programmer, so I didn't really know he was into prepping at all. But I showed him the site, and he told me, yeah, I've been into prepping for years. And I said, well, what the heck? You never told me about it or anything. He said, well, you never asked. But I asked him why he did it. And he had a really cool saying. He said, well, you buy a spare tire for when your tire pops, but it really almost never happens, right?
Yeah.
And he said, well, that's just why I prep, because you never know. But he was saying that since he lives in a big city, he has his bag and he has a storage shed he can walk to. And he can walk to the storage shed real quick, get on his dirt bike, and he's got enough gas to get him out of the city. And he recycles the gas. He throws it in his truck every month to keep the gas fresh, and he rides his bike once a month to keep the gas fresh. And he... Brain fart. Oh, I was going to say also where he got his food. He got an idea to get his food. He was trying to find places with food that lasts a long time. And he went to check out these shipping companies that have these big life rafts for their crew. And the life rafts, they just buy a new life raft survival kit, and they come with food in them that lasts 8 years, he said. And I forget the name, I'll put it in the link, the company, but he said it's like Dysix or Dyson or something like that. But anyway, so the food lasts 8 years. He's got a month's supply just for himself, and he doesn't have a family or anything, so I thought that was really cool.
And I think it's very smart, because there's only a few different ways you're going to get out of a city if everybody's trying to get out. That's going to be a motorcycle, or on these railroad tracks where these...
The rail bikes, yeah.
The rail bikes. You
Oh
know,
yeah, check that article out on the website too. That's a really cool article.
That is a very neat way to get out of a city, unless you just flat out hike. So, yeah, if you guys are living in a city or even close to a city, get it figured out. That's one of the most important things, get out of a city.
What episode? I think it was episode 1. I talked about getting a primitive weapon.
Mm.
I was looking for a bow to buy, and I was gonna go to Cabela's and get one of the cheaper ones for like $150, with like a recurve bow with a 35 to 40 to 50 pound bow pull, and Eyan actually had one, so I totally got that from him. So I'm gonna start working on my shooting accuracy at 10 yards and 20 yards, just to see if I can hit a target at 20 yards. I don't even know if I probably can't right now, but that's what I'm gonna do.
There's a good story about Eyan shooting.
You shouldn't have your boat there.
Missing the straw belt and hitting my aluminum boat.
Did he? Was he shooting a bow?
Yes.
Had his
awesome.
boat right behind the straw belt. Shouldn't have it there.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
move your boat.
that was awesome. Yeah, don't shoot. Listen to your hunter safety training. So yeah, we wanted to also talk about, Eyan is like a super gun expert, and I was asking him what a really good cheap rifle would be, and I said, and I was gonna do I just wanted to be able to hunt with it, and I wanted to have cheap ammo, and I didn't really need a scope. That was my thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what did you say, Eyan?
I told him the Mosin Nagant would probably be the best choice, because you can get it for around $150 at most gun retailers, especially if they cater to surplus firearms. I know Cabela's usually has them.
Do they come packed in grease?
The ones from Cabela's, you bought, they clean the grease off beforehand.
Oh.
And honestly, if you're going to go out and shoot it, that's better, because it's sort of a pain to clean. But you can get the guns for $150, fairly accurate out to 300 yards with open sights. You can go farther if you're a better shooter, but that's probably the limit you want to go.
Well,
the caliber is... Well,
okay. I've seen on some of those guns they have the flip up sight that you can change.
And you can change the elevation, but like I said, it's all about the shooter himself. Personally, me, I wouldn't be comfortable trying to make a shot past 300 yards, because that's the limit I think I could accurately hit a target repeatedly.
Right. Because you're only seeing such a small area, right?
Yep.
Like at that distance, you're trying to just hit the thing, not hit the heart or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. But the bullets are cheap?
The bullets are cheap. The caliber is 7.62 by 54R. The R stands for rimmed. It is a rimmed cartridge. You can get a 440 round sealed spam can for $90 before shipping from cheapanddirt.com. It's
And so that's just bullets packed in grease?
Not grease. It's they're just packed in little paper packages, 20 rounds a piece, and then it has an aluminum can or steel can just around it, like basically looks like a spam can. That's what I call them.
Oh, it actually looks like a spam can.
It does.
I'm thinking ammo box.
No, looks like a spam can. You have to use a can opener to get it open.
Dang.
Keep the moisture out of it.
That is awesome.
It is. I have a few of those in my closet.
Is it as big as an ammo can? Or is it like one of the...
It's about as big,
Yeah,
because
okay.
it holds 440 rounds, so...
Okay.
Um,
That's sweet.
so it's easy to store the ammunition for a long period of time if you don't open that. You can buy stripper clips for those rifles, so you can put 5 rounds in a stripper clip, put them in the gun real fast.
What's a stripper clip? In case I don't know.
Stripper clip is with bolt action rifles, some semi-automatics. They have a little guide in the top of the receiver. You put the clip in there. The bullets are all lined up. You push it down with your thumb. The bullets go into the clip. It's basically a detachable magazine before they had detachable magazines. Cheaper and fairly effective. They use them on the SKS. And I know most of the rifles in World War I had them.
So you're talking about there's a small clip that fits in the bottom of the gun, right?
Well, no, it's
Like
a
the
fixed clip in the bottom of the gun.
Oh, it's fixed.
You fix clip in the bottom of the gun. So it's a 5-round clip in the Mosin gun. And it's fixed there. It has a guide in the top of the receiver where the bolt is. So you put it's a little metal, just like a little strip of metal, holds the cartridges in it, 5 of them, to fill up the clip. You put that in the top, and you just push them down out of that thing, pull it out of the top, and you're ready to go.
It's like a quick loader to load your built-in
It's basically a speed loader.
Okay.
They call them stripper clips.
Cool.
It's what they used before detachable magazines became popular.
I've seen one of those. I think you had one, didn't you?
The SKS.
Yeah, it uses them.
It's set up that way too, so I got some of my bullets.
Yeah.
And the most
stripper clips.
What other guns will the Mosin Nagant shell go into? Like other common? Are there any other common?
There are other Russian-made guns. I have it's called PSL 54C. It's a Romanian sniper rifle.
So it's
sort
rare.
of not very common, They also have the more common variant. It's called a Vepr. It's a new import gun. They're importing them from, I think, Romania, Russia, somewhere, but they're pretty expensive. They're around
that's
$1,000.
Those are rare guns anyway, right?
They're not really rare. You can find them anywhere that deals a lot in AK-47 type rifles.
But you're probably not going to find it in some guy's basement if you're searching through their house.
Probably not, but
Okay.
there were millions of Mosin Nagants made. I think there have been 4 million imported to the United States.
Whoa.
So you have a good chance of finding that ammunition and that particular rifle if you want to go looking.
Sweet. So what about, why wouldn't you say people should just get a 22?
At the moment, 22 ammunition is hard to come by, and if you wanted to hunt with the rifle without the world going to, well, anyway, if you want to hunt with the rifle now, the Mosin gun is legal to hunt with.
Oh.
It's a centerfire rifle.
Because the 22 is not legal because it just damages an animal.
Yeah, it's a rimfire cartridge. It's too small to really kill it unless you're aiming right. I mean, you could take down an elk with it. I wouldn't really advise trying, but
Because you might just wound it and it'll run off and it'll die and
it's
be
illegal.
Yeah.
And it's illegal, okay.
But no, the Mosin gun, the caliber it has, take any game in North America. 22 is a valuable rifle and it has its place, but for a cheap rifle you want to get a lot of ammunition for that can take down anything you want it to, the Mosin gun would probably be the best.
Nice. I think I want one.
Yeah, I think you should have one. And for the person that's just starting to prep, and you can't afford something too expensive, that's the way to go.
$150 plus if you were caching and you had to buy several of them, and you wanted all your stuff standardized. That's what I'm thinking, like.
Yeah.
Because it's a good quality rifle, right?
The finish, they're wartime made, so the finish isn't as good, but honestly, it's not gonna break. It's not gonna.
So you're talking the paint.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
You're not talking about the stock finish.
No,
you're talking about
well,
like the paint on the metal itself.
No, it's basically it's just World War II Russian rifle. Think of it like that.
Right.
You get what you pay for.
Right.
And it's going to be extremely reliable. It's not going to break on you. It was made for cold weather conditions, but it'll work anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
And do you think are there different quality? Like, can I go and buy a much more expensive one?
You can.
Like the
The
SKS?
pre-war ones, or hex receiver ones. There's a round receiver and a hex receiver. Hex is the earlier ones. They're really well manufactured. Sort of the Finnish ones, because a lot of different countries manufacture them. Russia was just the main one.
Yeah.
The Finns make a really good Mosin Nagant though, and that costs around $400.
Nice.
So
But it's got a lot better quality.
it does. It has a better stock, better finish, better sights.
Huh.
Well, how much is the SKS's now?
SKS like $300 to $600. depending on the quality.
But they come from all kinds of countries, right?
Yeah.
China, Russia.
China actually made their own Mosin gun as well.
Really?
They did. It's called the Type 53. It has a side folding bayonet on it, shorter than the standard 9130.
That's the one you were telling us about, yeah.
Mine's a Russian one, but yeah.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm. It's called the...
This is the same ammo, right?
It is.
Nice.
The Chinese ones are lower quality, though.
Are they cheaper?
You can get the M44 and the Type 53 about the same price.
Okay, so the low quality Russian and the Chinese are about the same price.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But that's for the side folding bayonet. Like I said, the shorter side folding bayonet ones. The 9130 is a standard Mosin gun.
Huh.
And that's the $150 one.
I like the idea of not using a scope.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are scope hounds and they love it, but
a scope just makes it easier for you to shoot if you are not really good with rifles or
right.
You know.
But but in a survival situation, how many people that are going to be listening to this are going to be qualified to shoot in a scope, to sight in a scope?
Hunters.
Well,
because I've never done it. I don't know how to do it.
Well, it's easier, honestly.
Well, yeah.
It's the crosshairs. You stick it on your target and you pull the trigger.
And then what do you do if say you hit lower and what distance? I mean, there's like...
I sight my scopes in for 100 yards. And...
just eyeball it after that?
Yeah.
You just aim a little high?
It's called Kentucky windage. You just
nice.
Aim left, right, high, low. Whichever way you hit, you aim the opposite.
Huh. So...
But in a survival situation, if you've got a bigger family, you need a couple guys with some long-range rifles and some scopes. So...
maybe...
Well, I don't like the idea of having a rifle without iron sights. I know a lot of bolt-action rifles nowadays, like the Remington 700s, they don't come with iron sights.
Wow.
That
so
is odd, yeah.
If your scope breaks, you're screwed.
I didn't even know that.
You can just use Kentucky sighting and just look down the barrel.
Use Kentucky sighting.
That is weird.
Now.
So yeah, well that's what I'm thinking is a scope. I mean,
a scope is just another factor that can fail.
Yeah.
You know.
So I guess you could add it, but make sure you have iron sights.
But it'll keep your enemy further away.
Yeah. Well,
if you can shoot further away.
If you're good enough with iron sights, you can shoot just as far with the scope.
That's true too.
So I want to get back to this. Hold on, I want to get back to the scope thing.
Okay.
This is cool. I like this. When you say I've got a target at 100 yards out.
Okay.
I've got my scope. It's all mounted correctly. I shoot and it's off. What do I do to adjust the scope? Are there adjustments on the scope?
There are. You just they have dials. You just sort of
on the mount or on the...
No, it's on the actual scope itself. It moves the crosshairs inside.
Because I've seen them with dials. I wasn't sure if that was distance that you were changing.
Well, you can. And there are two types. Like the regular hunting scope, it's going to have dials that you have a screw-on thing, so they're protected. They don't ever move. Right. More tactical style scopes, they actually pop off, so you can move them yourself. But I wouldn't really recommend that unless you were trained to do it.
To change the... I guess the pitch and the roll inside.
It takes a lot of math. Like, if you're going to make a shot 900 yards, you're going to need to change stuff up, you know?
Right.
But it's going to take math. You're going to have to know the wind speed, all kinds of stuff. Personally, I think it's better to just have it set at a certain range. You know what it's going to do, and you can...
well, at 900 yards, you could afford to just hike your lazy butt closer.
Yeah, exactly.
If you really want to shoot something.
If you know where your leads are hitting, you can adjust with iron sights really fast. Mm-hmm. I was shooting, it seemed like a quarter mile away with an SKS, shooting something that was floating down a river. And within a couple shots, I was hitting.
SKS's
how far is a quarter mile?
The farthest quarter mile is like a quarter of 5,000 feet. So whatever that is.
No, don't bring math in.
No, I'm just saying. SKS is 7.62 by 39 millimeter ammunition. It can only go out to 300 yards or 330 yards, I guess, because it's 300 meters. That's the maximum recommended range for that caliber. So you could have been shooting.
I was lobbing these over there. Yeah.
Well, it was far, and you were just adjusting. Tell us what you were doing exactly with the sights, because I didn't get what you were doing. You were just adjusting.
I'd aim an inch higher, and then I aim 2 inches higher. You can lob a bullet out there a long ways if you can see where it's hitting.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, if you can't see where it's hitting, there's no way you're shooting that far.
Well, it's different. Like a lot of the places back east, it's really hard to get anything other than 100 yards or 200 yards or 300 yards because there's so many trees.
Probably not gonna get past 50 yards in Florida.
Yeah, you've been to
Yeah.
Florida a bunch, unless you're out in the city on a building.
Yeah, shooting down Main Street.
Yeah. Let's not go there. That's cool. So the Mosin
Mosin gun. You can
Mosin
say however
gun.
you want.
I
don't really know the correct
I really
pronunciation.
want one of those guns. I like the idea of the iron sights though, because I like especially the fold up ones that you can adjust.
And it has a hooded front sight, you know, so you can knock that front sight around. It's not gonna move.
Right.
And another cool thing, with AK-47s, SKSs, Mosin guns, that hood and the front sight, if you put that on your target, center of mass 50 yards or closer, you have a good chance of hitting them. You don't even have to aim down the rear sight. You know what I
Really?
mean? So
I want to talk about the rear sight. Have you used those a lot?
I have.
So when you fold them up, they have numbers. That's yards.
They don't fold them up. The way it works is it's like a ramp.
Okay.
So it
Oh.
increases or decreases the angle, and it has marks for how many yards it is.
Right.
I think
okay.
it's meters for Russian, but
Uh-oh.
same difference. It's
That's
like
gonna trip me up.
4 feet instead of 3
Oh.
feet, whatever it is.
Now we're never going to hit nothing.
That's over. I'm not gonna get that gun now. Anyway, so when you go to use it, you're putting it to that distance,
You are.
and then that's set up to fire accurate at that distance.
It is, but I've never really had to do that, honestly, because, like I said, you're not going to be shooting past 300 yards, and you don't really need to adjust the sights to go 300 yards.
You wouldn't
So,
just put it to the max and just try for it.
Why would you? Like, I would rather save my ammunition until I knew I could hit the target.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
You'd rather be sure.
you need to know your limits before you start trying to shoot something.
So don't just buy this gun and throw it in your backpack or
If you're gonna-
throw it in your car. And
Try to
never
buy
use
2 Spam cans. Sterile one away and shoot the other
You
one.
can't shoot your rifle. You can't just store it, because if you don't,
Yeah.
you're not going to know how it works. You're not going to know how to do anything with it, really.
it. Cool. Dang, that was good. I wanted to talk about your Tony's cool prepper tip of the show.
You have a cool prepper tip?
Oh.
You do have a cool prepper tip. Tell us about that.
Do I? One thing I've never heard anybody talk about prepping or a bug out bag
Here first.
would be to have some keys with you. Nobody thinks about having keys. Cat keys, case keys, heavy equipment keys. They're not as hard as you think to get a hold of these keys, but somebody that works around heavy equipment, beg, borrowing, but somehow get a hold of some of these keys. A heavy piece of equipment could block a road into your bug out spot. It could block a road off into a whole entire town with a piece of heavy equipment by having a couple pieces of, a couple keys.
And all the keys for, like, CAT are the same, right?
No, they're
They are?
not.
Okay.
There's the old style cat keys and the new ones.
Okay, but it's like
And on
they
some of the
work
new
in different
equipment,
vehicles.
on some of this new equipment, they take both keys, the old key and the new key.
Okay.
It takes a new key to open up the engine compartment. In the engine compartment, you put in the old key to turn on the master power switch, and then the new key turns on the piece of equipment.
Whoa.
So you have to
That's-
have
that's
the old keys
interesting.
and the new keys.
Why?
That seems sort of weird.
Why would
Well,
they do
because there's so many of those keys out there anyway, the old keys,
I'm just
that they moved to the new
I'm
keys.
just saying that the CAT keys themselves work in CAT vehicles. You don't have to. They don't have a specific key manufactured for that specific vehicle.
No.
Okay.
It's all cat
That's
equipment.
also really
whether
weird.
it's a little skid steer
Well,
thing.
who's
something
really
big.
gonna go steal a backhoe off the?
I happen to
anywhere?
know someone who got stuck. You guys know him, but you don't know who. But anyway, they got stuck in a river under a bridge. Not this bridge here.
Okay.
Over at the little town between me and that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, got stuck under a river, and it was like on prom night, or under the bridge in the river on prom night. Well, the county yard's right next to the bridge. He had a cat key, and he went up and got a loader in the middle of the night, broke it out, went down, pulled himself out, put the loader back, shut the gate back, wrote like a
Goodness.
thank you note on the loader.
Pretty awesome.
But it was such a small town that,
Yeah.
and then there was no one around it, so there's.
I don't recommend that part of it. But
I just thought that was cool.
and end of the world scenario, having those couple keys is not that much weight. Having them in your backpack, you never know. Plus, there's a couple videos out there on picking locks and using a pop can to open up locks and stuff.
I have a shotgun.
Yeah, shotgun. But that would let everybody know that you were there.
Yeah, what about
I have a
the...
shotgun,
and the shotgun
so
yeah.
I can, you know.
Yeah. Keys, people. Get some keys for some of these different kinds of equipment.
I didn't think that's what you were going to say. Let's
And
give
hang
the
on
other
to
pepper
these.
tip, too.
Well, yeah, you
Which-
have one
the
written
real
down
one.
for you, right?
The lint.
Oh, you want that pepper tip? A lot of people know this, but some don't. Using your fire starter and using lint from your dryer.
And it
I
does
did
work.
it with my mom and my daughter. And in a split second, they had a fire going. And it kind of shocked them how easy it was.
It's like having the perfect tinder without going anywhere for it. And it doesn't...
It's free.
It doesn't weigh anything, and it's free.
And to have in your bug out bag is perfect. I used a can with... I'm trying to think what the can was.
Are you
It's
talking
an
about...
aluminum can, right?
Yeah, it's just a small aluminum can. But you can pack a lot of lint into that and put that in your backpack and use just a little bit. And then to go a step further, you use the Vaseline onto the lint, just a thin layer, and that keeps it a little bit waterproof, burns it a little bit longer, and that's just the ultimate thing to have in your backpack.
And you're talking about a little bit of Vaseline for a lot of...
Little.
Because it'll just
Because you
coat
still
it.
want to get the more air it has in it, you know, the better it's going to take that
Yeah,
slug.
so it's not caked. It's just you take a little bit of Vaseline on your hand and then rub it over all of your lint. You know? So, it's just something, try it. Trust me, once you do it, all the other ways of starting fires are slow compared to that.
And if you don't want to use Vaseline, you don't really have to. It's just a bonus.
Yeah, it's just help a little bit for the waterproof and makes the lint burn just a little bit longer. But it'll start a fire in a quick hurry.
Okay, that's it. Our next video we're going to try to do, instead of the EMP, we're going to try to do Navigating by the Stars, because I think that's 100 times more useful. I think the EMP stuff we just need to throw in an article. If people really want to read it, they can.
I still think it's real important. I think it's a real big possibility.
But as a good show, as a show that people want to listen to, I just don't know. I don't know.
If they want the information, they'll read the article.
Yeah, we'll just we'll make it bare bones, so it doesn't have a bunch of fluff. It just has the basics. And then also we're on YouTube, we're on iTunes, we're on our website to listen to this, and we're on Stitcher. If you are on any of those, please give us a good comment. That helps us gain traction because we go up in the standings and the rankings as we get more people to like it. So that's it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.